Now, our next guest has been on the show a few times before. This time is for a bit of a different reason. For those of you who don't know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and our next guest is here to share her story and a little bit about how you can get some help. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend, Jennie. Hi.
Hi guys, how are you? It's so good to see you both.
How are you, beautiful?
It's so
Hi.
good to see you.
You guys too. Thank you for having me back.
Of course, it's always a pleasure. Can we start by you briefly telling our audience a little bit about your personal story with domestic violence?
Yeah, this is honestly actually I'm sitting here and I was getting really teary-eyed just thinking about it because I've sung about it, but I don't actually think I've talked about it, and talking about it is so much different because
Right.
anybody that's been in my situation and there's so many of us that have been in very similar situations, it's so hard to talk about and say, oh yeah, I went through that. My therapist always says I talk about it like I'm going grocery shopping because I don't like to go there. You know what I'm saying? So I guess just in a very short synopsis without going too deep, I, like many young girls, I met my ex when I was just 17. I had moved around a lot. I'm a military brat. I know this will resonate a lot to a lot of folks in 757, of course. I met him. I knew there were so many red flags, and then my family moved away, and I got kind of stuck, for lack of a better term. I was so young. I didn't know what to do, and things really escalated very quickly. But when you're so young, your cognitive brain, it's not there yet. I didn't know what to do, and at the same point in time, I was kind of thrown into this world where I was like, oh, this is exciting, but behind closed doors, so many other things were going on. And it just got progressively worse because we got progressively deeper. I became more public, and it's like we have this persona that everything's wonderful and everything's great, but I was getting to be a shell of the human that I was. I mean, Ashley, you know me. I couldn't have any friends. My family got cut out of my life. I opened an Amazon package wrong and I got the entire thing thrown at me, or I cooked the steak wrong and plates were smashed. It's very minimalist things that were happening in my day-to-day life. And when people speak of domestic violence, I think they think of, the absolute worst. Well, the absolute worst, I will say I'm alive, so the absolute worst did not happen to me, but really bad things did happen to me.
Yep.
But that doesn't, it doesn't make up for anything. It's mental, it's emotional, it's being locked in a closet or being told you can't talk to your family. So much of that went on to the point where I was 110 pounds and I'm 5'6", so that was kind of scary. But I was being told how to eat, what to wear, who to talk to, who to be, how to show up in this world.
Yeah.
There was no Jennie. She was gone. She was gone.
Jennie,
And
so you are so brave to share your story with all of us, and thank you so much for doing that. Now, you just mentioned something very important. This happened to you at a very young age. Now I can speak from my own experience. This happened to me as an adult person too. And like you say, physical, domestic violence abuse can be in so many shapes and colors. You don't even see it sometimes. Can be in anybody and any age. So I'm so proud of you that you're sharing this with us. And like you say, it's very hard. You don't know what's going on. You believe in this person. You love this person so much. Now, when do you feel that you are very endangered and you know that you need to talk about this and you need to ask for help?
well, I think for me, my story is a little different in that way, but I think that you might relate too. You don't talk about it for a really long time.
Yeah.
That's why when I did what I did, I wrote it in a song, because you don't go to the people and you're like, these are all the horrible things that happened. It's not something you do. But I will tell you from my personal experience, I knew when my imminent life was in danger that there were so many things that were happening for me personally. There was guns in the house. They were used on me. I knew that it was time to go. It was too much. And I was like, it's either I'm going to die in this situation or I'm going to die leaving. So which one am I going to live with when I get upstairs to God? And for me, I have such a faith in God. And I think that through the situation, it just became more and more and more.
Yeah.
But I was like, listen, I got to go and I'm going to figure out a way to do it. And
Yes.
It wasn't pretty. I left with nothing, nothing. I grabbed a bag of my most personal things and that was it. And it was terrifying because anyone in my situation knows you're going to think you're going to end up with nothing, and
Yes.
you're going to that person in a ditch, which you're told that you're going to be. Look at me now. That's all I'm going to
Right.
You're doing great.
Now we have time for one
more
last question. We know that domestic violence happens often, but more times than not, it's behind closed doors. What are a couple things that we as friends can look out for in the people we care about who are in relationships? And what are some resources for people to get out?
Absolutely. And I'll make it quick because Ashley, you know this firsthand. You are one of my best friends going through this and you got cut off. I'm telling you that anybody sees, senses, and feels anything in their friends, trust your gut feeling. Fight for them, because I can guarantee you anybody is going to feel it. They're going to see it. They're going to know it. Even if on the outside everything looks so freaking perfect, if you get any inkling that something is wrong or that you're no longer able to talk to them for any type of reason, please, please, please ask your friends, check on them, make sure that they're okay, because I feel like in situations like mine, too many people just accepted the cutoff, right? And that's a very, very hard thing. Resources, it's amazing. There's so much online, and
it is so much.
Okay, quickly.
Quickly, Piece Over Pieces. It's an amazing resource. It's on Instagram. Okay, Instagram is amazing. The national hotline, and then you guys in Virginia have the Samaritan House. So reach out to that, and you can do it via text. All you have to do is text START to 88788, and I hope that anybody that's in my position gets out, because
thank
you.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for being so brave,
Yes,
and
we
we
love you
encourage
and thank
everyone
you.
to look for help. Yes, because this is something that we need to talk every day.
It is.
Thank you.
It's important to talk about it, because the more you talk about it, the more comfortable people feel asking for help.
Yep.
Now, we do have to take a quick time out here, but Jennie wrote an amazing song about her situation, and we are actually going to have that music video right after the break, so stay right there.